When people think about Colombia's Caribbean coast, they usually think Cartagena or Santa Marta. Hardly anyone talks about Barranquilla. But here's the thing, Barranquilla is more than just the carnival capital of Colombia. It's a real working city. It's affordable, and it's strategically located right between Cartagena and Santa Marta. So if you're thinking about moving here, don't just pass through. Do a proper scouting trip. Spend 1 to 2 weeks in Barranquilla itself. Then take some side trips to Cartagena, Santa Marta, Tayrona, Palomino, Valledupar, even small towns like Puerto Colombia. In this video, I'll show you exactly how I'd plan it. I'm Matt, the Americano. Let's get into it. If you're scouting Barranquilla, plan to spend at least 1 to 2 weeks living in the city itself. This isn't like Cartagena or Santa Marta, which are driven by tourism. Barranquilla is a working city. It's Colombia's 4th largest, and it feels very Colombian. That means less English, fewer expats, but also a more affordable and authentic lifestyle. Barranquilla is known as the Golden Gate of Colombia and is a strategic port city with access to markets in the US, Brazil, Europe, Central America, and the Caribbean. Foreign investment is on the rise here. In 2023, the city attracted over $600 million in foreign investment, a 130% increase compared to 2022. Barranquilla's cost of living is 60 to 70% less than in the US. Now, Barranquilla is hot and humid year-round, usually in the 85 to 95 degree Fahrenheit range, but it's breezier than Cartagena thanks to the trade winds coming off the coast. That wind is a lifesaver in the afternoons. You'll quickly learn that air conditioning is not optional here. If you're scouting apartments, make sure AC is included in the bedrooms at the bare minimum. Then you have neighborhoods to check out, like El Prado, Alto Prado. Both are historic upscale neighborhoods with tree-lined streets and big mansions. Lots of character. Then you have Villa Santos, more modern, family-friendly, quieter, popular with middle and upper class. Then there's Buena Vista. It's near the biggest malls like Buena Vista 1 and 2. It has modern high-rise apartments, lots of conveniences. Then there's Rio Mar, which is residential and it's close to the Magdalena River, and it's popular with professionals. Each of these gives you a different feel, from a historic charm to modern convenience. Take time to walk them. Visit a grocery store and get a sense of whether you'd feel comfortable day to day. Groceries are noticeably cheaper than in Cartagena because Barranquilla isn't catering to tourists. You're paying local prices. And Rappi works well here, so you can get food or groceries delivered right to your door. And then, of course, dining out. You'll find everything from Colombian street food like arepas, empanadas, and seafood to upscale restaurants in places like Prado and Buena Vista. Prices are a fraction of what you'd pay in the US. And then there's healthcare. Barranquilla has some of the best private clinics on the coast, and EPS coverage is inexpensive compared to US healthcare. Barranquilla is known as the Carnival capital of Colombia. Once a year, the city explodes with music, costumes, and parades. It's one of the world's largest carnivals and a UNESCO heritage event. But outside of Carnival, the vibe is more laid back. It doesn't have Cartagena's colonial charm or Santa Marta's natural beauty, but what it does have is a strong Colombian identity and a sense of being a real city where real people live. Expats who move here usually want authenticity, affordability, and access to both Cartagena and Santa Marta without paying their tourist prices. Then there's the pros and cons. The pros has affordable rent, authentic culture, it's less touristy, and a central location. The cons are the heat and humidity, the traffic, and it's not as visually charming as Cartagena and has fewer expat amenities. But why would I stay 1 to 2 weeks here? Well, spending 1 to 2 weeks in Barranquilla gives you the real feel. You'll see the neighborhoods, you'll experience the climate day to day. You'll test things like Rappi, Uber, or even local buses, and you'll get a sense of whether you're comfortable living in a city that's more Colombian than touristy. That's the point of a scouting trip, not just seeing the highlights, but experiencing the daily rhythm. Then I would do side trips, and side trip number 1 would be Cartagena and Baru for 3 to 4 days. One of the biggest perks of living in Barranquilla is how close you are to Cartagena. It's only about a 2-hour drive, and Cartagena is the city everyone knows. The walled city with cobblestone streets, colorful balconies, and that Caribbean romance. It's one of Colombia's most visited cities for a reason. Inside the walled city, you'll find boutique hotels, rooftop bars, luxury restaurants, and endless Instagram-worthy spots. Gethsemane, just outside the wall, has a bohemian vibe. Street art, live music, hostels, and a younger crowd. Boca Grande is the modern beachfront strip. Think Miami-style high-rises, shopping centers, and a touristy vibe. But here's the thing, Cartagena is beautiful, but expensive. Rents, food, even groceries are higher because it's built for tourism. Just outside Cartagena is Isla Barú, home to Playa Blanca with white sand beaches and turquoise water. You can take boats out to the Rosario Islands, which are perfect for snorkeling, diving, or just spending the day at a beach club. Barú is rustic if you stay overnight, but for a day trip from Cartagena, it's paradise. For expats, Cartagena is amazing, but most don't want to live there full time. It's hot, humid, crowded, and expensive. Barranquilla, on the other hand, is cheaper, less touristy, and more authentic. But you're only a couple of hours away from Cartagena whenever you want that colonial romance, nightlife, or beach escape. Think of it like this. You can live affordably in Barranquilla, then visit Cartagena on your terms for a weekend, a nice dinner, or a quick getaway. So I suggest 3 to 4 days. Spend 2 days in Cartagena itself, one inside the walled city and one in Gethsemane or Boca Grande. Add a day trip to Barú or Rosario Islands. If you've got 4 days, stay overnight on Barú for a different pace. Then for side trip number 2, my suggestion would be Santa Marta, Tayrona, and the Sierra Nevada for about 4 to 5 days. Another huge advantage of basing yourself in Barranquilla is that you're only about 2 hours east from Santa Marta. If Cartagena is all about colonial charm and luxury, Santa Marta is about nature, beaches, and a more laid-back vibe. Santa Marta itself is a working port city, but it has a very different feel than Barranquilla. It's smaller, more relaxed, and has a growing expat community, especially in the Rodadera and Pozos Colorados areas along the beach. Costs are lower than Cartagena and life feels slower. It's not the prettiest city in Colombia, but it's the gateway to some of the country's most incredible nature. Just outside Santa Marta is Tayrona National Park, one of the crown jewels of Colombia. Picture jungle-covered mountains dropping straight into turquoise Caribbean beaches. You can hike through the forest, see monkeys and exotic birds, and end up on beaches like Cabo San Juan that feel like paradise. Some beaches are safe for swimming, others just for scenery, but the views are unforgettable. Staying overnight in Tayrona, whether in a hammock or an eco lodge, is one of those once-in-a-lifetime experiences. Behind Santa Marta rises the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, the highest coastal mountain range in the world. We're talking a mountain range that's 15,000 feet that's only about 30 miles from the coast. Within just a few hours, you can go from beaches to snow-capped peaks. The Sierra Nevada is home to coffee farms, waterfalls, and indigenous communities like the Kogi. Expats often take eco tours here or stay in mountain lodges overlooking the Caribbean. If you're adventurous, there's also the Lost City Trek, a multi-day hike through the jungle to ancient ruins, often compared to Machu Picchu. So why does this matter if you're scouting Barranquilla? Well, because Santa Marta and Tayrona give you access to nature and lifestyle options you don't get in Cartagena or Barranquilla. Living in Barranquilla, you're just a short drive from a slower paced city with an expat scene, some of the best beaches in Colombia, and mountain escapes with coffee, waterfalls, and indigenous culture. That's variety, and it's what makes Barranquilla appealing as a base. You're not just locked into just city life, you've got world-class nature right next door. So I suggest 4 to 5 days. Spend a day in Santa Marta itself, explore the beaches and the Rodadero area. Dedicate 2 to 3 days to Tayrona with at least one overnight if you can. Add a day in for the Sierra Nevada, coffee tours, waterfalls, or a mountain lodge stay. Then I have side trip number 3. That would be to Palomino, San Juan del Cesar, and Bayou de Par. And I would spend 3 to 4 days there. If you've already made it out to Santa Marta and Tayrona, I recommend just pushing a little further east because that's where you'll find some of the hidden gems of Colombia's Caribbean coast. This trip will take you through Palomino, San Juan del Cesar, and Bayou de Par, 3 very different places that together show you a completely different side of Colombian life. About 2 hours past Santa Marta is Palomino, a small beach town that's become a hotspot for backpackers and digital nomads looking for something quieter. The town itself is rustic, dirt roads, hostels, eco lodges, but that's part of the charm. You can relax on wide, uncrowded beaches, surf, or go tubing down the river that flows right into the Caribbean. It's the kind of place where days blur together. Yoga in the morning, beaches in the afternoon, bonfires at night. For expats, Palomino isn't a place most people live full-time, but it's definitely worth experiencing. It shows you the rustic, chill lifestyle that exists just a few hours from Barranquilla. Keep heading inland and you'll find San Juan del Cesar in La Guajira. This is a small town that doesn't see many foreigners, but it's deeply Colombian. Think traditional plazas, local markets, and a lifestyle that's centered on community and family. For a scouting trip, spending even a night here gives you perspective on what everyday Colombian small-town life looks like outside of the expat bubble. And then there's Valledupar, the cultural capital of vallenato music, a traditional Colombian folk style with accordions and storytelling lyrics. The city is bigger than you'd expect, with a mix of modern and traditional. You'll find plazas, riverside walks, and cultural festivals. Valledupar is hot, just like Barranquilla, but with a more inland feel. What makes it special is the music. If you come during the Vallenato Festival, the whole city transforms into one big cultural celebration. Even outside of festival season, music is everywhere, in the plazas, in the cafes, on the streets. For expats, Valledupar isn't a place most foreigners move to, but it's an important piece of Colombia's cultural puzzle. Seeing it on your scouting trip gives you a richer sense of what this country is really about. So why does this trip matter? Well, because it shows you that Colombia isn't just cities like Medellin and Bogota, or tourist hubs like Cartagena. It's also rustic beach towns, quiet inland communities, and cities where music is at the heart of daily life. Living in Barranquilla, you're close enough to explore all of this on a long weekend or short trip. That kind of cultural variety is rare, and it's part of what makes Colombia such an interesting place to live. And I suggest 3 to 4 days. Spend a day or two in Palomino for beaches and rivers. Add a night in San Juan del Cesar for an authentic small town feel, and finish with Valledupar, ideally during the music festival, or at least to just soak in the vibe. Then you have optional day trips. Not every side trip from Barranquilla has to be a big multi-day adventure. If you just want to get out of the city for a day, there are a couple of great spots right on your doorstep. Puerto Colombia and Galapa. Puerto Colombia is about a 30-minute drive west of the city, and it was once one of the most important ports in Colombia. Today it's a quiet coastal town with local beaches where Barranquilleros go on weekends. The town's historic pier was once the main entry point for goods and immigrants into Colombia. Now it's a landmark, perfect for photos and sunset views. The beaches here aren't as polished as Baru or Tayrona, but that's the charm. They're more local, more authentic, and they give you a real sense of the coastal lifestyle. You'll also find plenty of seafood restaurants serving fresh fish, fried plantains, and coconut rice. Classic Caribbean coast food. For expats, Puerto Colombia is a reminder that you don't need to drive hours for a quick escape. Living in Barranquilla, you can have your city base and still be eating fresh fish by the beach within a half an hour. Just inland from Barranquilla is Galapa, a small town known for its connection to Carnival. This is where many of the famous masks and costumes used in Barranquilla's Carnival are made. Visiting Galapa gives you a behind-the-scenes look at how much work and artistry goes into the festival. You'll also find folkloric museums, artisan workshops, and plenty of opportunities to learn about the traditions that keep Carnival alive year-round. For expats, Galapa is less about moving there and more about understanding the cultural identity of Barranquilla. If you're scouting the city as a place to live, seeing where its biggest celebration comes to life helps you appreciate the connection between daily life and cultural pride. So why do these short trips matter? Well, because they show you that even without going all the way to Cartagena or Santa Marta, Barranquilla still has quick escapes nearby. You can finish a workday, hop in a car, and be watching the sunset over the Caribbean in Puerto Colombia, or dive into Carnival culture in Galapa on a weekend afternoon. These little escapes make Barranquilla feel more livable, and they're part of what you should factor in during your scouting trip. So what does all of this actually mean if you're considering Barranquilla? Well, most people who come to Colombia as expats look at Medellin for the spring climate, or Bogota for the capital city lifestyle, or Cartagena for the romance of the Caribbean. Barranquilla often gets skipped over. But here's the reality. Barranquilla is a city that's not built for tourists. It's built for Colombians. And that means fewer crowds, lower costs, more authenticity, and a strategic location right between Cartagena and Santa Marta. So in Barranquilla itself, you get the conveniences of modern cities, malls, supermarkets, healthcare, and neighborhoods with everything you need day to day. The climate is hot, yes, but it's consistent, no surprises. Once you adjust, you realize you can plan your life around sunny weather all year long. And culturally, you've got one of the most vibrant celebrations in the world with Carnival, plus music, food, and a strong coastal identity that's very different from Bogota or Medellin. From an expat perspective, this is gold. You're living affordably in Barranquilla, but you're connected to some of the best travel and lifestyle experiences in all of Colombia. And that's the real point of a scouting trip. You're not just deciding if you like Barranquilla streets or if you can handle the heat. You're deciding whether you like the lifestyle that comes with living here. Do you want to live in a Colombian city with fewer expats and more authentic feel? Do you want the ability to escape to beaches, islands, colonial cities, or national parks on the weekends? Do you want a lower cost of living than Cartagena while still being in the heart of the Caribbean coast? If the answer is yes, Barranquilla might surprise you. So that's how I'd plan a proper scouting trip to Barranquilla. Spend 1 to 2 weeks in the city itself, then take those side trips to Cartagena, Baru, Santa Marta, Tayrona, Palomino, Valledupar, and don't forget quick getaways like Puerto Colombia and Galapa. The big takeaway, Barranquilla isn't just a city. It's a strategic base on Colombia's Caribbean coast. You get affordability, authenticity, and easy access to some of the country's best beaches, colonial cities, and national escapes. If you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe because I'm doing more of these scouting trip guides, including Bogota, Medellin, and Bucaramanga, so you can compare Colombia's top cities side by side and figure out which one fits you best. And if you want even more insider tips, cost of living breakdowns, and expat strategies, check out my free weekly newsletter, The Passport. The link's in the description below. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.